Alright guys, TechCrab back again today. Hope you're enjoying your Thursday so far. Today we're going to talk about this clip which surfaced last night from the most recent Eavesdrop podcast with Hector and Samuel Octane LaRue. Current CDL Intel brings this to light, talking about next season, CDL 2021, the likelihood of the season also being online. Of course, this season for a number of months now we've had the online Call of Duty situation, and that hasn't been ideal for a number of reasons. Of course, latency of course has been an issue, but also most recently we've been talking quite a lot about servers and how the server locations aren't ideal for some teams and are certainly beneficial to others. It's a conversation that we really wish we didn't have to have. And of course, Champs later this season, in just a couple of weekends' time, is going to be online as well. Far from ideal. However, a lot of people are suggesting that, okay, maybe next season we'll go back to some degree of normality. However, Hector doesn't say that is particularly likely as it stands right now. Harkens back certainly to a tweet from Austin/SlasheR Lidicote a couple of weeks ago when he talked about how a miracle would have to happen for it not to be online next season. Looks like there may be some LAN events. I highly doubt they'll be outside of the USA. But of course, I am intrigued to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. Like if you guys enjoyed the video, subscribe if you are new. As always, I would greatly appreciate it. Really looking to hit 25,000 subscribers by the time we get to the Call of Duty World Championship. So if you're looking to do your part, the big red button down below to the right hand side of the video is where to be. Let's play this clip on screen for you guys real quick then, with Hector talking about the situation as it stands.
2021.
Yeah.
What do you hope 2021 looks like? Because there's rumors that we're going to continue on this COVID trend, that we're going to continue to be online, and that there's apparently going to be 3 homestand events or something like that.
So right at the start of this season, this is what they came out with. Call of Duty League 2020 World Tour. And as you can see on the screen, they actually did go on and change this, right? This was the initial intention for the amount of LANs they were going to have all the way over the world. The Minnesota launch weekend, then London, then Atlanta. The Paris event disappeared, and they actually just had the New York event, or they had the Los Angeles event instead, and then we went into the online arena, but a lot of those events got cut out after the first couple of discussions, realizing that logistically it's going to be very challenging indeed to get players to all of these events every so often, and of course then they went to the whole tournament format, and they cut some of these tournaments out of the entire regular season. As I say, after the first 3 events, excluding the launch weekend because that was just a weird one, after London where Chicago won, Atlanta where Atlanta won, and Los Angeles where the Dallas Empire won, we then went into an online arena which looked something like this. So yeah, the Dallas home series, the Huntsman home series, Mutineers, as we have seen this entire season, and now we're looking at the World Championship. Now, it must be said there's certainly been some issues with these online events in terms of the broadcast situation, like the audio being delayed, and it's got better, certainly has, but there's still some issues with it. And the pros are talking a lot about some of the issues with online, the cheating accusations that come out as a result of being online, for example, Awakening in the Strike Pack, and, you know, the Cronus Max situation, and using all these, you know, potentially using glitches and abusing stuff that you wouldn't be able to necessarily get away with on LAN, but you can do online from the comfort of your own home. Yes, they have introduced these, like, integrity cameras, and the question really does come, with Champs just around the corner, are they going to make an attempt to add in more online servers effectively to actually help some of these teams? Because it has been a discussion, especially around the London home series, as you can see here on the 17th through 19th of July. Paris Legion had a great weekend. They make it all the way to the grand finals, but their very first matchup was against the Dallas Empire in round 1. They got smoked by Empire, and then they played Empire once again when they got to the finals and got smoked there as well. And a lot of people were talking about at the time, this is not necessarily because Empire is such a better team than Paris, but it's probably because that Empire are based in Texas, Dallas Empire, and the way the servers are organized right now with the CDL, that Paris had to veto one server which was so far away from them, and then obviously Empire vetoed the California server, which is right where the Paris Legion guys are based right now, and therefore they had to play on the 3rd server, that being based right in Texas, and Paris basically didn't have a chance. So definitely there needs to be a push towards, and we'll see whether there is, because if there is a big push towards this pre-champs, I would imagine that it definitely shows some indication that next year as well, this could be a possibility. Because the fact of the matter is right now, we do not know when we're going to be out of this situation. Champs, they could have considered postponing it, and I think some of the team owners did consider postponing it, but the problem with that really is that we never know when we're going to be able to host things on LAN. Yes, they could do a bubble that people do talk about. I definitely think it is within Activision's capability to do that, but the problem is, at the end of the day, that esports, in a sense, has kind of been a blessing and a curse with this whole pandemic environment, because, first of all, we got the opportunity to actually still play these events in an online environment when other sports had to postpone. But the problem is that now other sports are going back to playing as normal because they have to be played in person. That's the only way to do it. Whereas Activision and, well, other esports title publishers have the opportunity to just say, well, we can do it online. It's going to be an absolute PR disaster if anything goes wrong for us if we try and do it on LAN. And legally, maybe there's some problems there as well. So it makes it much easier for Activision to just say, yeah, we're going to do it online until we have an absolute reason to do it otherwise. So, you know, as I say, it's kind of a blessing and a curse in that sense. And that may, well, it may linger with us into next season as well, as Hector talked about in that clip, saying that there might be a couple of LAN events. And as I said at the start of the video, probably not going to be outside the US, right? All the players based in the States right now, that's going to be a huge challenge to get players over to London and then back over there. Like, I can't imagine that's going to be very easy at all. And I don't think it's something that's going to happen next season for sure, which, you know, is obviously a bit gutting for us over here in the European region and down in Australia, New Zealand as well. However, the possibility that there might be some LAN events next season, of course, is certainly what we're looking to see. But the fact that they're going to do some online and some on LAN seems pretty interesting, right? Is it just going to be the latter half of the season where they're planning these 2 or 3 events? You know, what 2 or 3 events would they even be, right? If opening weekend, are they going to try and do that on LAN, then go back to online because it's problematic? So many questions to be asked right now, and as SlasheR said a couple of weekends ago, then barring a miracle, the league will more than likely be online next year. I have a lot to think about, will more than likely take time off. I will not put myself through this anymore. We suffer because their central south servers can't work properly. So SlasheR definitely gutted with the situation as it has been so far this season, but he's also saying that next season it's also potentially going to be a disaster when you consider multiple aspects of the fact that, well, the online servers aren't great by any means. Are they going to be improved for next season? And even the likes of SlasheR, one of the most reputable players of all time, world champion. I think a lot of people would put him on like the top 10 players of all time list. The fact that he's considering taking time off until we're back on LAN is crazy. Probably bit of a reactionary tweet from their result of the gaming hour, which wasn't so good, but who knows, will he follow through with this? There has been some discussion from other pro players as well, right? Like, if the game isn't so good, what exactly is the direction that they're going to take next season? And of course, maybe next season, like, it isn't so bad and the game's better and playing online is more tolerable and the CDL step up their infrastructure to another level, which they've tried to make an attempt at doing this season, but it doesn't mean great, right? So it doesn't fill me, and I'm sure some of the pros, with optimism that next season the online scene is going to be significantly better. Where might those LANs be if they do have them? Hopefully at least chances on LAN next season, but who knows exactly what's going to happen. And as I say, given the fact that we can play it online and it's much easier from an Activision perspective to do that and not have to deal with all the repercussions, that may be what they decide to do, right? And the viewership given the online scene this year has honestly been kind of good. Then again, you do have to consider the impact for team owners, right? Because of course these franchise owners, they want to be LANs, they want there to be LANs, so they can actually host the events, have sponsors at the events, have like booths with merch giveaways or merch, you know, selling merch, and also have the fans pay to actually attend, right? Which is a big money maker for these franchise organizations, something that isn't really possible moving on to an online scene. How do you really monetize an online event when people can just watch for free? It's very difficult indeed. So a number of questions to be considered. Hopefully things start to ease down quite significantly. The way it's going in the States right now doesn't look overwhelmingly likely, and the rest of the world isn't exactly having a fantastic time with it either. Intrigued to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. You know, unfortunately, slightly disappointing news. But as this tweet thread here says, and, you know, we've got a back and forth between Aches and SlasheR, kind of talking about how this year has just been so bad for a number of reasons, not just the online scene from a competitive player's perspective, which maybe makes me think that next season, if the game is in a good state, they will certainly consider still playing in the online environment, which hopefully is the case. Like, we don't want people like SlasheR dipping out of the scene because he's an entertaining individual and also, of course, a fantastic player and ambassador for the scene at times. Now, to finish off the video, I wanted to talk about this acquisition with Vindex buying up Belong Arenas. So Belong Arenas is like esports arena organization based in the UK. I think they certainly have some like around Europe as well. And it's been a pretty big thing for like the amateur grassroots Call of Duty scene. Now, Vindex is this new organization owned by, well, I think it's run by like Anna Mapasella and some of the old MLG guys, or at least they're heavily involved with this organization, and they've raised some huge venture capital investment over the last few months, and they've actually bought out Belong Arenas. Vindex also raises $300 million to expand further, aims to open in 500 US locations and 1,000 global. So this could be really, really good stuff for the amateur Call of Duty scene. As he says, congrats Sundance, you know, Mike Sepso and Anna Mapasella, of course. And these are some of the tweets that come out of the result. Build the best ecosystems, operate the best events, produce epic broadcast experiences, be the bridge from couch to stadium. I love being the platform solution for the best games on the planet to have legendary experiences. You know, we have this whole thread. I'm a firm believer that esports is built on the amateur scene and couldn't be happier knowing that Esports Engine, which is another company they've just started up, Vindex and WatchNG will be designing and operating leagues and tournaments throughout the Belong Arenas network to help aid in its expansion. I'm beyond excited to join the team as a CXO, whatever exactly that stands for. Yes, I'm also still leading Esports Engine, which is like the new MLG thing, where they run and operate events on like a freelance basis, effectively, or an agency basis for a lot of the biggest organizations and tournament organizers in the world. Not only are we endeavoring to build 500 plus Belong Arena over the next 5 years, many partner with top esports teams, but it will also create thousands of jobs, which continues our long history of creating opportunity for players and aspiring esports professionals. Then we have this from Sundance here. Reminder, we are committing to relevant localized esports with the launch of Belong Arenas in the US. For example, 2 of our flagship locations in New York and North Texas will be the official arenas of Andbox Official and Envy Gaming, with more on the way. So certainly looks like a great partnership. The best thing about this is that, well, these guys certainly know what they're doing, right? They've been around Call of Duty for a long time. I certainly think this is going to have a good impact on what the state of the amateur scene looks like, having more potential local events, because there are more of these local arenas run by Belong Arenas, which has been a pretty successful thing in the UK. Bringing that to the States seems like a great idea, to be honest, for all things considered. And, well, these guys obviously know Call of Duty inside and out and have been there since right at the start. So hopefully this should be a good move. And as Esports Engine then says, our decades of building esports experiences and providing players a pathway to becoming pro is coming to your hometown. Incredibly happy for Anabap Pacella's new CXO role at Vindex. Cannot wait to see the impact he has on expanding Belong Arenas into North America. So if you guys are amateur players or interested in the scene on this level, you know, certainly something you might want to keep your eyes on. Some information on screen here that I'll well, leave up for a second if you guys would like to pause and read through it. And then this final thing that Anabap Pacella here says on the Reddit: you thought we were just going to fade away. Hope to do amazing things for all parts of the CoD ecosystem to help support the amazing aspirations of the CDL. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like if you did, subscribe if you're new as always. Intrigued to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. Somewhat disappointing news about the online stuff, but honestly somewhat expected. But I certainly do hope the situation changes going forwards. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.